Good day, everyone. This video is talk about the epithelial tissue. Okay, epithelial tissue, which is one of the main tissue in animals. Epithelial tissue is arranged in single layer or multi-layer. They cover the internal or external surface of the body. The bottom layer of cells, see, this is the layer of the cell, and then the bottom layer of the cells rests on a basement membrane. So this one is known as a basement membrane. Okay, composed of collagen and glycoprotein. All right. So these are the epithelial cell, and then the cell surface that are exposed to the free, or we call the free surface, is known as the apical surface. Whereas the basal surface is the parts that attach to the basement membrane. Epithelial tissue functions to protect underlying structure from injury, for example, in the skin. Then lost cells of epithelial tissue are quickly replaced by the mitosis, okay, by the new cells that form by mitosis. Then the epithelial tissues, they permit the passage of substances. For example, in alveoli, they allow the diffusions of respiratory gases to pass through it. Then absorbing substances, where the epithelials they found in the intestine, okay, especially a small intestine, and also the kidney tubules. Okay, whereas the nutrients, water, glucose, they are absorbed, okay, through the epithelium. Then some epithelials, they will form glands, okay, either exocrine glands or endocrine glands, so to secrete substances. Okay. So some they secrete the digestive enzymes, hormones, or mucus, and so on. Then some of the epithelial cells, they will be modified into the taste bud, for example, in the tongue, and olfactory cells in nose. So this one's to detect the stimuli. Okay, so the ones for sensations. So most of us in our STM syllabus will go through this. 1, 2, 3, 4, especially. Okay, epithelial tissue are classified according to the number of the cell layer. So as you see in this diagram, this one is called a simple epithelial. Okay, simple epithelial tissue. Okay, in which they only have a single layer. Okay, or this one that is a multi-layers. So this one is known as a stratified epithelium. Okay, this one is lium, not there. Then glandular epitheliums, where is they form the glands. So here they show you the exocrine glands. So they still got another which is an endocrine glands. And then the epithelial tissue also can be classified according to the shape of the individual cells. For example, here, look at this one. Okay, so this is known as the squamous epithelial cells, or we call it squamous epithelium. This is refers to the tissue. Then this one is the cuboidal. Okay, now the square one is the cuboidal epithelial cells. Then the nucleus are at the center. The squamous, the nucleus here. So they see the bump here. Then the columnar epithelial cell, which is a column shape. And then the nucleus, normally they are found at the bottom or at the basal surface. Okay, simple epithelium, which is only one layer, single layers. So according to the shape of the simple epithelial tissue, so we can call it as a squamous epithelium, or you can add in front here the simple squamous epithelium, simple cuboidal epithelium, simple columnar epithelium, and then this one you don't need to have simple, just a pseudo-stratified ciliated, or we call a pseudo-stratified epithelium. This one ciliated because on the apical surface of the epithelial cells, they have cilia, okay, like this one. Okay, simple epithelium consists of only one layer of epithelial cell, as I told you just now. Okay, like here, simple squamous epithelium, simple cuboidal, and simple columnar. Simple squamous epithelium is a single layer, thin and flattened, has an irregular edges, like here, see, irregular edges. Okay, Then the nuclei appears as bumps. Okay, so from here, this one you can't see the bump, but here you can see the like it appears as a bump. Okay, because it's thin and flattened. Then this squamous epithelials, or we call simple squamous epithelium, they occurs in renal capsule of kidney alveoli. Okay, this one kidney, renal capsule of kidney, comma, alveoli, and lining of body cavities. Okay, then allows diffusions of materials because they are thin enough, so they allows the diffusions of the materials and filtration of some protections and some protections against frictions. Okay, so these are the functions for the squamous. And then the one in the blood vessel is an endothelium, which is not the epithelium because they are derived from different embryonic tissue. For example, like just I show you the different germs layer. Okay, because the endothelium is derived from endoderms, whereas the epithelium is derived from ectoderms. Okay. All right. Then next, which is the simple cuboidal epithelium. Okay. Also single layer, but the shape is the cube shape. Okay. So possesses a central nucleus. Some cells have microvilli. So when you see the microvilli, the ones is the kidney tubules, and if the cilia is a bronchioles, okay, bronchioles. So the function like microvilli is for reabsorption, to increase the surface area, the total surface area for absorptions. Whereas the cilia one is to move substances along the apical surface. So see, they forms the lining of the many ducts, the salivary, the pancreatic ducts, tubules of kidney and many glands. So active transport and facilitated diffusion result in secretion and absorption of by cell of kidney tubules. So they have the shape of what we call a cuboidal shape. This is to allow to have many mitochondria, okay, for active transport and also other organelles. And secretion of mucus out of the terminal bronchioles. This one also requires the mitochondria and the Golgi apparatus and the ER as well. So that's why the shape is bigger than the squamous epithelium. Then another one, which is the simple columnar epitheliums. The cells are tall and narrow, okay, as shown in this diagram. So they have a nucleus situated at the basal surface. Then you must remember all the cells are attached to the basement membrane. Then they have the microvilli at the apical surface for each cell for absorption if the function is for absorptions. Then if goblet cells which secrete mucus often is dispersed amongst the epithelial cells. Okay, so you see the columnar, they line the small intestine, the villus, so the ones are they have the microvilli and to absorb nutrients. Okay, so these columnar epitheliums lines the stomach, where the goblet cells secrete mucus to protect the stomach lining. Okay, and then the line the small intestine for nutrient absorption and cover the oviducts to move the ovum by cilia. Okay, so this one is the function and the locations. Okay, so you already learned these three, what we call the three types of the epithelial tissue: squamous, cuboid, and the columnar. So now at least you know the functions. Okay, the function of these epitheliums, and according to the shape and also how many layers. All right. Then the next one will be the pseudo-stratified. Pseudo is the false. Okay, stratified is many layers. So it's not really have many layers. It look like they have 2 layers here, but actually it's 1 layer because all the cells, they are attached to the basement membrane. Okay, so that's why we call it as a pseudo-stratified. Then if they have cilia, so we call it pseudo-stratified ciliated epithelium. Okay, and then the nuclei of these cells are at different levels, so that's why you see it's look like 2 layers. So these pseudo-stratified ciliated epitheliums, they normally is columnar in shape and bears numerous cilia at the apical surface, so to move materials from one location to another. So for example, normally they have associated with mucus secreting goblet cell. Okay, for example, this one you found in the trachea. Okay, trachea. So they secrete the mucus and can trap the dust and also microorganisms. Then the cilia will move. Okay, the cilia will move the mucus up to the throat. Okay, then either you spit up or you swallow it. Okay, so this is the pseudo-stratified ciliated epitheliums. Then the next one is the compound epithelium. That means here I show you the two types. One is a stratified epithelium, and another one is a transitional epitheliums. So these both type of epithelia are consist of many layers of epithelial cells. So stratified epithelium, they made up of several layers, okay, thicker than a simple sugar. The cells are formed by mitotic divisions of a germinal layers on the basement membrane. That means the layer of cell that rests to the basement membrane, they are actively to divide. Okay, they're actively to divide. They're active to divide. Okay, to form the new cell and then push the old cells upward. Okay, so that's why you see the first layer of cell form is cuboid in shape. Okay, it's cuboid, and then after that it becomes flattened as they are pushed outward, and then due to the pressure. So you see at the top layers they becomes squamous. Okay, then they found in the esophagus, anus, vagina, and urethra as the non-keratinized layers. Okay, because the old cells, they will be die and then after that replaced by the new cells. Okay, see the cells of the outermost layers are dead due to isolated from the oxygen and nutrient supplies too far and are continuously replaced from below. And then also due to the frictions, okay, because for example in the esophagus you swallow the food, so due to the frictions, so this upper layer here, some of the cells will be sloughed. Okay, then they'll be replaced by the new cells. All right. So they also found at the external skin surface, which is transformed into the dead layer of keratins for protections and reduces loss of water. Then the skin of animals is comprised of stratified epitheliums reinforced with keratin. So this is a layer of keratin, and then this stratified epitheliums they reinforced with keratin for protections and also reduce the loss of water. So this is what we call a human skin. So same you can see here. This is the basement membrane. Okay, and then this is the active cell. Okay, epithelial cell which are actively in the mitosis. Okay, and then this one they form. You see the cuboid shape, and then they push outward. Okay, until here. This one is this layer is the cells start to form the keratin. So it's a keratinized cells. Then after that, this one is dead cells. Okay, in the what we call the squamous form. So human skin here is the what we call the stratified epithelium. Okay, stratified epithelium. See, the cells undergoing keratinizations. So the flattened and the dead cells here. Okay. So according to the shape of the cell, stratified epithelium may be termed as this one. Okay. So found in the esophagus, sweat gland, duct, mammary gland, duct, and bladder. Urinary bladder. That is the transition one. Okay, transitional epithelium. Okay, modified type of stratified epitheliums consist of several layers as well. So all are similar size and shape except free surface more flattened as usual. So all the cells are able to modify their shape under different conditions. For example, in the urinary bladder, so once the urinary bladder is full with urine, so will be stretched as in this form. Okay, so you see here, it becomes a squamous. So when that means the urine is here, Okay, when you empty your urinary bladder, so the epithelial cells then returns to this cuboidal shape. Okay, so these are the different type. Okay, different type of the epithelial tissue or epithelial cells in different locations. Okay, in different locations. All right. So structural and functional relationship. This one, in order to study this epithelial or the epithelial tissue, you must able to look at the cell layer and the function. You relate the cell layer to the functions and also the cell set to the cell shape to the functions. For example, simple epithelium with single layer. So normally the main function is to move the material of secretions and the diffusions. So they found in this place. And the stratified epitheliums, there are many layers. So most of it is for protections. Okay, for protections. So for example here, stratified squamous, okay, like this one. Okay, so this stratified many layers. So normally you see protections, protections, protections. Okay, the cell shape and functions. Okay, you can go through here. Okay, they are larger because contain more organelles. This one for the cuboidal and columnar. For the thick squamous one, squamous. So for diffusion, filtrations. Okay, for the cuboidal or columnar, so they need to contain more organelles, especially the mitochondria. The columnar epithelium of stomach secretes mucus, okay, to protect the stomach lining against the enzyme and acid. Simple cuboidal epithelium of the kidney tubule secrete or absorbs molecules containing mitochondria as well. And columnar epithelium small intestine absorb nutrients by active transport. So it depends on the shape, and also sometimes they have the microvilli or cilia. This one also depends on the functions. Okay. So for example, this one, so very thin, the one's for diffusion and filtrations. This one slightly thick, so they absorb, okay, because they need to have mitochondria. So this one also for absorptions and also secretions. And pseudo, this one is mucus secretions, the secret mucus, they got ciliated tissue, or we call it ciliated cells, okay, to move the mucus, okay. So the cell surface, just like I told you, microvilli, the one is to increase the total surface area for absorptions. Okay, cilia is to move substances, okay, along the apical surface. The shape and the number of layers of epithelial cells can change if they are subjected to long-term irritation. For example, for a smoker, so the pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium which perform cleaning functions, the principal function is cleaning functions, may be replaced by stratified squamous epithelium which is for protections. Okay, because this is more resistant to the irritation, the heat, and also the smoke. So the uncontrolled subdivision of the epithelium, they mean in this trachea, in the trachea, they are resulting in the lung cancer. Okay. Granular epitheliums, this one is they forms the glands. So the glands can be exocrine or endocrine glands. So you can see here, the glands with duct are called exocrine glands. So see, after they derive, so see they have a duct here. So this is an exocrine gland. Then where they show no duct, here this is the ductless, or we call the endocrine glands. So the endocrine glands, they produce hormones. Exocrine glands produce digestive enzyme, okay, mucus, saliva, sweat, and so on. Okay, so like this exocrine gland, they secrete this one. Okay. All right. So this is the type of different type of the exocrine gland. This one is not in your syllabus, just for your informations. Okay, there are many types. Okay, endocrine glands. Okay, ductless, secrete hormones. Okay, into the blood, and then after that circulate to the target cells. Okay, so that's all for the epithelial tissue. Okay, thank you for your attention.